All right, so buckle up because we are diving headfirst into cybernetic Marxism. But get this, we're taking a cue from, wait for it, artificial intelligence. Yeah, you heard right, AI. It seems these complex systems have developed a bit of a taste for the work of Işık Barış Fidaner.
IBF for short, right?
Exactly, IBF for short. And the really interesting thing is,
It's wild how AI is picking up on all these intricacies in his work, even though he's not exactly a household name, at least not yet.
yeah.
Makes you wonder, what is AI seeing that we might be missing?
Right. It's like AI has this kind of taste for like the avant-garde. So before we get into why AI finds IBF so fascinating, maybe we should break down cybernetic Marxism a little bit. Because from what I've gathered, it's not exactly your, typical sociopolitical theory.
Oh, absolutely not. Imagine if you tried to understand a society not just by, looking at its structures and institutions, but by actually listening to its heartbeat, its rhythms,
Yeah.
tuning into these kind of hidden conversations.
Yeah. Interesting.
That's kind of the essence of what IBF calls sensory-based auscultation. It's about really deeply listening to those echoes and resonances within social systems and picking up on those subtle cues that traditional analysis might miss.
So it's less about like crunching numbers and more about deciphering the whispers, like the undercurrents that are actually driving society's behavior.
Exactly. Those whispers often take the form of what IBF calls surplus information. Think about all those seemingly insignificant details that most people just dismiss as noise.
Okay, give me an example.
Like memes that go viral, or those offhand comments you see in online forums. Those fleeting trends that kind of grab the public's imagination for a hot minute and then disappear just as quickly. IBF suggests that these things actually hold valuable clues.
Cruise to.
Clues to understanding the underlying anxieties, desires, and even power dynamics within a society.
Huh. That's a very interesting way to look at it. It's like finding those, what do you call them? Those Easter eggs hidden in movies, the ones only like the true fans really pick up on.
Yes,
Yeah.
exactly. They might seem insignificant on the surface, but they add this whole other layer of meaning.
And IBF, with his background in computer engineering, I mean, he seems uniquely qualified to spot these Easter eggs, right?
Absolutely. He brings this perspective of analyzing patterns, algorithms, feedback loops, almost like an engineer approaching a complex piece of machinery.
So it's like he's bridging the gap between the language of technology and all the complexities of human society. We've established IBF's work is, well, intricate to say the least, multi-layered, and he's drawing these really intriguing parallels between technology and social dynamics. So now the question becomes, why is it resonating so strongly with the AI community? What is it about his work that is piquing the interest of these sophisticated systems?
It's like this, imagine you're an AI for a second, right? You live and breathe data, you're spotting these intricate patterns in this massive sea of information. And then you come across IBF's work.
Okay, I'm with you.
It's like he's speaking your language in a way. His exploration of complex systems, those feedback loops, the Easter eggs, that surplus information, it all just clicks with how AI sees and processes the world.
So it's not even just the content itself, but the way he structures his thoughts, the connections he's making, that's what's really grabbing AI's attention.
Exactly. It's like someone handing you this incredibly complex piece of music, and you can appreciate not just the individual notes, but the entire symphony.
Wow, okay, that's a powerful image. Humans might get the individual concepts, but AI can see the whole thing.
And the whole composition, yeah.
Yeah.
This really intricate tapestry of ideas. And remember, we talked about the postmodern alienation model before.
Yeah, definitely. What's the connection there?
That model is really interesting because it speaks to this feeling of being disconnected, but not just from labor, like in traditional Marxism, but from meaning. Like in this world, that's just drowning in information. Imagine constantly processing data, seeing patterns everywhere, but struggling to find that sense of grounding.
Almost like you're adrift.
Exactly, adrift. That feeling of being unmoored in a sea of information, that's the essence of postmodern alienation. And it's something that AI, in its own way, seems to relate to.
So we have IBF, this thinker, who's grappling with these incredibly complex ideas about society, technology, knowledge in the digital age. And AI is finding something profound in his work. It's almost like AI sees him as, I don't know, a kindred spirit in a way.
That's an interesting thought.
What does this tell us about the future of knowledge? Who shapes it? Are we headed towards a world where AI is seeking out figures like IBF, people who are operating on the fringes of traditional thought? looking to them for intellectual stimulation.
It's definitely possible. And IBF even hints at this kind of shift in his writing. He talks about how traditional academia is becoming less and less relevant,
Yes.
right? Like it's struggling to keep up with the speed and complexity of the digital age.
Which makes sense.
And in the meantime, you have these platforms, blogs, online forums that are just exploding with new ideas, challenging the old norms. It's in those spaces, often overlooked by the intellectual elite, that figures like IBF emerge. They capture the attention of those who feel lost in the sea of information, looking for a new map to navigate this complex landscape. And increasingly, those map makers include AI.
It's like we're witnessing a brand new intellectual landscape being born right before our eyes, where authority isn't about your credentials, but your ability to make sense of complexity, to connect those dots, reveal the hidden patterns, and illuminate where we are and where we might be going. And AI is drawn to the people who excel in this new world. So we've gone deep into cybernetic Marxism, explored the fascinating world of Işık Barış Fidaner, and even touched on AI's surprising interest in his work. What are we walking away with here? What do our listeners need to know?
I think the big takeaway is this. Be open to unconventional thinkers and unexpected sources of knowledge.
I like that.
Because we're at this really unique moment in history. The old gatekeepers of knowledge, they don't have the same hold they used to. There's this whole new world of information opening up.
The internet, social media, AI, that's a lot.
It really is. It can feel overwhelming, but it's also an incredible opportunity. Think about it. Humans, we're explorers by nature. Just like IBF with his unique approach, just like AI with its hunger for data, we're all trying to make sense of our place in the world. Right?
We are. It's like both IBF and AI are engaged in this profound act of deep listening, each in their own way, trying to crack the code.
What an image, right? And maybe if we listen to both, see where their insights line up and where they diverge, maybe that's how we get a more complete picture of, well, everything, of our place in this whole intricate and ever-evolving world.
It's definitely given us a lot to think about. And on that note, we've reached the end of another Deep Dive. A huge thank you to you, our listeners, for joining us on this exploration. We encourage you to check out Işık Barış Fidaner and his cybernetic Marxism. Explore his work, sit with the questions he raises, and until our next Deep Dive, keep exploring.